It's Sunday, July 14th, 2024, and I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, and we're reading his book, Their Mother's Sons, and we're on page 240. It's chapter 9, and that's heading is called Crossing the Channel. Before I start, Mr. Jeckovich, what is your dog name?
420965.
All right. You're looking very chipper today.
Hello?
You're looking very chipper today.
Oh, chipper. I thought you said different.
What'd you say?
I thought you said different.
No, you look very chipper. Looks like you got some new clothes there. You look very nice in your new clothes. And we're going to read Crossing the Channel. And you're still in Haverford West, working your way out. Were you trained in many different aspects in World War II? Most probably you were working the heavy machine guns, but were you also a sharpshooter?
Sharpshooter,
Yeah.
a carbine, an M1, and a pistol.
How were you with the pistol?
But I wasn't too good.
You mostly did well with the carbine.
I did good with the carbine and the M1, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick up and start reading page 240. Would you like some water, Mr. Jeckovich?
Why?
Would you like some water or something?
I seen that, yeah.
Would you like some water or?
No, I'm good. I don't want to sip the water now, no.
Okay. We're getting close to getting into the Battle of the Bulge. And that World War II lasted primarily from 1939 to 1945, when Japan invaded Pearl Harbor. Mr. Jeckovich was like 14 or 15,
Yeah.
and he was skating on the creek.
I was skating on the creek Sunday night, Sunday afternoon.
Were you skating or were you playing hockey?
Played hockey on the street.
Okay. And then little did Mr. Jeckovich know, a few years after that, he'd be shipped to that war in the European theater.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich enlisted. No, he did not enlist. He waited to be drafted.
I was drafted. I didn't enlist. I was drafted.
Because he wanted to drag out his time as much as possible, because he was the sole supporter of his family. And without him, the family wouldn't do too well. So instead of, enlisting, he waited till he got drafted. And then when he got drafted, he went to several training camps throughout the United States, San Antonio, Indiana, Owensboro, Breckenridge, all over the place. And then he finally ended up in a training camp after taking a troop ship with about 30,000 soldiers in really cramped conditions across to Europe. But at that time there, no one told you where you're going. There was still a toss-up that you might be going to the Pacific or Europe. What would you have preferred?
I put Pacific, Europe.
Is that how most of the soldiers felt?
Pardon?
Is that how most of the infantrymen felt? They'd rather go to Europe than the Pacific?
Oh, yeah, Pacific was rough.
With the rise of power of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis in 1930s, Germany discreetly began a program to rearmament that culminated into the invasion of Poland on September 1st, 1939. Within days, the world was at war. The Nazi forces conquering Denmark, Norway, Holland, Belgium, and France. So actually when you're in Paris, at the hospital in Paris, at some parts of Paris were controlled by the Germans.
Yeah.
Some parts, yeah. Mm-hmm. And
well, the hospital was neutral.
Yeah. And then, although Britain remained resolute and withstand the might of the German armed forces, particularly in the face of Hitler's invasion plans, initially Americans were content with just to help the Allies with sales of arms, but the unprovoked, this is what got them into it, the unprovoked Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, brought the United States into a conflict, although a quick resolution to the Nazi dominance proved elusive. World War II ended with the Battle of Bulge on May 8th, 1945. However, the Pacific War went all the way over to September 2nd, 1945 in Japan, bringing a conclusion to a conflict that had proved to be the deadliest the world have ever seen. More than 38 million people died between 1939 and 1945, many of them civilians, and it was only that these host countries came too close. Many uncovered gruesome details of the true atrocities that had taken place across the globe. And most atrocities, many of the atrocities, not most, many atrocities took place with the SS killing all the Jews.
Yeah.
It was a horrible situation. Horrible. And then as the war ended, the United States government was rounding up these devil makers, these SS.
Yeah, the Nuremberg trials, yeah.
But most of these Nazi guys ran like, rats off of a ship. These guys were bad news, and they turned out to be cowards. Like one particular case in Melody, they captured about 120, 130 young soldiers, cold as hell out, lots of snow, and the soldiers were told to keep their hands up, the captured Americans. And if you got tired of holding your hands up over 8-10 hours, which of course you would, they would shoot you on the spot. And an interesting fact is when the Nazis, primarily SS, caught these young teenage boys that are American soldiers, they took any valuables they had. They took their watches, they took their pocket knives, took their weapons, and also took their gloves. So now they have these 120, 130 young soldiers lined up on the street. And
Then the truck backed up.
Tell us that.
Trucks backed up, that had cabins over the back. They opened the cabins up and had machine guns, and then the machine gun ball.
Machine gun them all the 120 or 130.
Yeah.
A couple of them escaped, a couple, but not many. And so what these dirty dog SS would do, now you're picturing red blood all over the snow in this field. And the SS would say, any of you Americans that need help, we have medics here, will help. So you're in a panic stage if you're shot, and I'm hurt. So immediately the SS would go up and either took their pistol and blow your brains out, or they take the back of your gun and beat the hell out of your head until you died. A couple did escape, but many of them that were lying there, all the SS would go from soldiers lying on the ground, and the ones escaped, luckily, the hand of God was on them. They were afraid to breathe because in that cold weather, you would see the motions of your breath. And another guy that was scared to breathe, he had the SS right over him. The SS were also kicking these young boys between the legs, because if that's a really sensitive spot, and he would jump, and this soldier was thinking, if they kick me to the legs, how do I not react? And luckily they didn't. But it was a brutal scene, and these young boys, majority of them dead, they stayed covered up in the snow for many, many days, maybe weeks, before they're recovered. Now we're just tipping off on the Battle of the Bulge, which was the last battle that was fought on the European theater. That was the last battle, and Mr. Jeckovich was in it very actively. Shot up, machine gun through his shoulder, luckily it didn't hit a bone, and then he has shrapnel in his leg. You still have the shrapnel in your leg?
Yes.
When you got shot up by a machine gunner, a Nazi machine gunner, you were crawling in the snow.
Yeah, I was crawling in the snow, leaving a trail of blood.
A trail of blood.
The sniper spotted me, yeah.
Was that
The young nurse pulled me out.
Was it a sharpshooter that hit you?
Huh?
Was it a sharpshooter that hit you?
Yeah, it was on the next house on the second floor.
What happened to that guy?
Well, they blew the side of the wall off.
And you were still able to use your carbine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us
Well, I
how
had a
that
full
went.
clip. I had a full clip then.
And you emptied a clip into him?
Huh?
And you emptied a clip into him, the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
And then tell us about this nurse that dragged you.
They had an aid station there, and the nurses were there, in an aid station, army nurses, 21, 22 years. They ran out and pulled me out and said, "I'll get you out." She pulled me out. I was leaving the trail of blood, and they were trying to, and they weren't very good shots.
Yeah, that was a miracle. That was a miracle. Then how long when they sent you to the hospital in Paris, how long did you take there to recover?
You know, I was in France for a while, and then as you progress one way or the other, you move up. So my next step was England. I wasn't progressing that great, so I went to England. He said, "Now if you don't come out of this, what you got now, we're going to ship you to the States."
So how did it turn out?
Well, a month later, they said, "Well, you're clear. You're fit for duty."
And so what happened? Where did they send
I
you
went back to my unit.
Right back to your battle.
Yeah.
When you got to your unit, was most of the soldiers still alive?
Well, some of them were. They weren't all dead. Lake was gone. The
Fink?
Spasta was gone.
How about Fink?
Who?
Fink.
Yeah, he was gone. He was the squad leader. He was gone.
So were you still bandaged up when they sent you back to active duty?
The what?
Were you still bandaged up when they sent you back to active duty?
Yeah, my arm was bandaged up, and my leg. Yeah.
It says as long as you can carry a weapon.
Well, the army doctor at the hospital in France said that or England said that you're good enough to go back.
As long as you're able.
And they were back short because they had that invasion then too.
Yeah, so they needed all the men they could get.
Maybe 19-year-olds they wanted. They didn't want the 55-year-olds.
No, they wanted the under 20.
33s. They wanted the 33s.
Now, think about it. Why would you say them to 33s? What does that mean?
33s the code for a young 19-year-old.
Oh, that's a code.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, but did you say you had a couple guys that were in their 30s or 40s and just couldn't physically handle it?
No, Red could handle it. He got a nervous breakdown. They shipped him out.
Yeah. So it was the young guys that had all the strength.
New York.
Yeah. It was the young guys that had all the strength. When you went back for the second time, what type of weapons? Were you still assigned to heavy machine guns?
I went back to my old unit. Company Ace Heavy Weapons. Ace was broken up in mortars, 81s, and 31 machine guns. I was in heavy weapons machine guns. That's where I went back.
Okay. And I'm just trying to think, in the operation of a heavy weapons machine gun, it takes 3 soldiers, correct?
Tripod, the tank, and the people that will carry the ammo.
And don't you always have to have it water cooled?
Yeah.
What did you do with these frigid temperatures of the water freezing?
Well, you could see this mist coming out of the machine gun, and that was a telltale for the Germans. They know where we were.
Yeah. And if you didn't cool the machine guns, you could get seriously burned from the barrel, correct?
Well, if you didn't cool the machine gun, it wouldn't operate. It'd freeze up.
Didn't one of your fellow soldiers grab the barrel and get burned badly?
Well, he got his hands all burned up, yeah, both hands.
Was that enough for him to leave the war?
Well, he went back to England. I don't know how far he went, how bad injured his hands were.
Were you ever short on ammunition on a regular basis?
Short?
Short on ammunition?
Yeah, we were short. The ammo either got killed or we didn't get the supplies up.
How many rounds would this heavy machine gun shoot?
Machine gun, clip would be 150, 170 rounds, depending on armored piercer or with tracer or what.
How long would it take to shoot 170 rounds?
About 10 minutes.
Wow.
Well, you wouldn't stay there that long. You shoot maybe half a belt and get the hell out of there.
So you wouldn't dig in, you would shoot half the belt, and then you'd hightail it to another part of the field.
Yeah, and move someplace else because they have you zeroed in right away.
So they have you zeroed in.
The Germans had you zeroed in.
Wow. Did you use a flamethrower?
Did I use a flamethrower? In training, I never used it in combat, no.
How about a bazooka?
A what?
Bazooka.
I use a bazooka, yeah.
How about grenades? Did you do
I
much
threw
with grenades?
grenades, yeah, I threw grenades, yeah. I had 2 grenades on my belt.
No kidding. And how would you throw a grenade? Tell me how. What's the procedure of throwing a grenade?
How would they throw the grenade?
Yeah, what's the procedure?
Well, you take the thing off your belt and then get it in your hand. Well, I was right-handed, get it in your hand. And then you'll know what your target is until somebody's going to throw a grenade and say, "Ho," and then pull a pin and throw it.
So what we see on all these TVs where these soldiers are pulling the pin with their teeth, that's just TV.
What's that?
On TV we see many war stories
Like that?
where the soldiers pull the pin out with their teeth. That's not reality.
Yeah.
That's not reality.
Yeah.
That's just TV drama.
Man, they couldn't pull it out with their teeth.
It wouldn't work.
That pin was too tough.
Wow.
They had to hold their hand and pull it.
You want to present the box too? Take that out. Are you hungry, Mr. Jeckovich?
No.
We got a box for you here.
A box?
Let me do it.
What the hell is this?
Take your time.
Pull it forward.
Take your time, Mr. Jeckovich.
Ooh. How's this?
It's something you look damn good in.
Huh?
It's something you look damn good in.
I'm gonna wear this hat.
Damn good in it.
Huh?
Try that.
Try it out. Come on.
Huh?
Come on. Let me see. Is that the right way?
It's too big. Too big.
No. Just
Too big.
We gotta put a feather in your
put a
cap.
feather in it. Just let's look. You're staying. Mr. Jeckovich, you look absolutely stunning. in your new hair. Wear it for the rest of the talk. We're going to be here.
All right.
It covers your bald head. It's meant to look old. It's meant to look old. You look very nice in it. Come on.
Put that little hat away. That's a beautiful hat.
Oh, why did you put it on?
Can't you just wear it for a
That's
few?
too big.
Well, that's all right. Just one reading. You're not going to be like on a motorcycle ride. It's not going to blow the hell off. Could you just wear it for one 20-minute reading?
Yeah.
I mean, you look damn sophisticated in it.
It's good. So
You got new clothes
got a good
on.
shade out of that too.
Okay. Just wear it for the 20-minute reading. Okay. I like it. I like everything about it, Mr. Jeckovich. No, that's a natural. That fits you really nice. That's fits
All
you.
right, take a picture.
I'm going to right now. Hey, look at this. Mr. Jeckovich, see how nice you look?
Yeah, in a wheelchair, yeah.
Well, the hell with it, I don't see the wheelchair. That's it, well, the wheelchair, you're knocking on the door of 100 years old, you jog for almost 80 years, it could be a lot worse. Your knees gave out, you can't walk, so, don't take it the wrong way, you got a wheelchair, what the hell else could you do? Jogging for 80 years, you have shrapnel in one of your legs, and you got a perfect heart, lungs, you're sharp.
I got an artificial hip.
Artificial hip, you're sharp as a tack, and you can still read the damn newspaper without glasses. And that's a miracle. Most people, when they get to be 40 plus, they're wearing reading glasses. This guy here is knocking on the door of 100, and when he gets a letter delivered on his mail call, say it's a solicitation letter, he can read the letter, but also on the bottom of these letters is the fine print details. He can read that too.
I got a letter on the bottom print, yeah.
He can read that too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start reading part of your book. Do you want me to read it, Mr.
Yeah,
Jeckovich?
go ahead, go ahead.
Or sharpshooter stuff.
Wait a minute.
8.
But you were trained as a sharpshooter. You were trained as a sharpshooter in the war, right?
Trained?
You were trained as a
Yeah, we
sharpshooter.
were trained in boot camp, yeah.
Okay.
Ask him about the current events. Ask him about the current events.
You had to qualify for,
Ask him about the current events with Trump.
No.
you had to qualify for every weapon.
Okay. And you qualified for quite well.
Yeah.
All right, here we pick it up, crossing the channel. We reached the benches and huddled closely together, more than companionship than for warmth it afforded. This is such an interesting book. It takes you from your kindergarten to your retirement, and every time I read it, you're an active duty, you're a World War II veteran, Purple Heart, what else?
Bronze Star.
Bronze Star, and et cetera, but it's amazing that you had time during all this battle and basic training to have 3 different girlfriends.
Huh?
It's amazing during all this war, basic training, you had time to have 3 different girlfriends.
Well,
You had a girlfriend.
yeah, well,
You had a girlfriend.
I was 19 years old.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. You had a girlfriend at your first basic training camp, Camp Breckenridge, and you went there on a regular basis to Owensboro, Kentucky.
Anna Mahaney, yeah.
Ann Mahaney. And you did talk to Ann Mahaney about 4 or 5 years ago, which was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then we fast forward. You took this nasty ship, this troop ship, 30,000 people, soldiers just jammed into it, and that took you to Haverford West. And when you're in Haverford West, you met a beautiful girl.
Jean, yeah.
Her name was
Jean Young.
Jean Young.
Yeah.
Jean
27 years old and I was 19.
Jean Young. And like I said, we still have a crew trying to locate Jean Young or her family or her children. And what helped us most in this particular case is the Daily Mail, a large newspaper in London, circulation of approximately 800,000. They did a full-page front story about you looking for Jean Young, and we had a couple people come up. We have a guy from Paris, which is a gentleman, the other people in Haverford West, and we still have not located the family. And your third girlfriend was when you were in the hospitals in Paris recovering from your gunshot wounds. You met a nun, a former nun at the time, and her name was Renee.
Yeah.
And I think you liked her the best.
No, she wasn't the former novice. She was a novice, and her two brothers got killed, and her father got killed. So she got angry when resistance, and she started doing what the regular guys were doing, and she was going out and shooting people. And the mother superior says, "You can't do that now. You got to be cleansed now." So they took her and put her in Vietnam for a missionary. And she lasted maybe a week, and they knew she was a missionary, so they killed her.
Yeah, and tortured her. Could you tell us a little bit about Renee's faith and a little bit about Renee's artwork she's done?
Oh, she's a good artist. The German authors used to come get their pictures painted, not
Portraits, yeah.
paint their picture naturally, and she was a good artist. She's good at faces.
How did you feel when you were at Renee's loft in Paris, and in her studio, or art studio, she had numerous portraits that she did of German SS officers?
Well, they come in there. She was good looking. She had a good personality, and she'd get information out of them. They didn't get it for a while, but after a while they got it. Because they tested on it something, and then the next day
they knew that she was in a French resistance.
Yeah, so they took her on a wooden shot right away.
But how did it feel, you being a soldier, and you're meeting with Jean in Paris, and she has these portraits in her studio with all these SS. Was that a very strange feeling?
What?
When you see all those SS portraits when you're visiting with?
Well, the German soldiers were vain. They wanted the picture taken, not artificially. They wanted somebody to hand paint their picture, their face. And she was good.
How come they never came back for them?
Huh?
How come these SS never came back for them?
How they went there?
How come they never came back for their portraits once they're done?
Well, the German army moved them out, and they either got killed or never come back.
And then at one time, when Renee was in the French resistance, she took you down underground.
Did what say then?
When Renee, you found out she was in the French resistance, she took you underground to where they had their meeting.
Oh, there was the subway. It was like a morgue. Ooh.
What did you remember of that?
Smell.
It smelled bad.
Yeah.
What was down there, like a meeting room or something?
That was a resistance office or reception, whatever the hell they had for vindication. And the rest was just to put the people that died, put them out there. It was a morgue.
Do you think when Renee was in a monastery, or found her months before she became a full-fledged Roman Catholic nun, do you think if her father and her brothers, which were civilians, were brutally killed by the German SS, that if that didn't happen, do you think she would have stayed into the monastery and lived her life as normal as possible as a full-fledged nun? Do you think the death by the SS of her father and her brothers was a turning point where she left?
Well, it took effect on her, yeah.
That was a turning point.
Well, she didn't want to just cry. She had to do something constructive, and she got into resistance, which is a bad thing for her.
It ended her life through a torturous way.
Yeah.
More torturous way. Minutes?
Only a minute and a half. Only a minute and a half left.
I'll read a little bit. We reached the benches and huddled closely together, more for the companionship than the warmth it afforded. The RAF was out in full force, and again Jean was annoyed at them, saying that they made a horrible noise and were repulsive. I agreed and understood the full implications of what she was saying. So the RAF were flying Spitfires.
The what?
RAF was flying Spitfires.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They go at night, and the Americans will go at daytime.
Do you think a lot more American planes were lost because they were going during the daytime and the RAF was going at night?
Well, at nighttime they got a lot because they got Germans that searchlights all over, floodlights and everything.
I think there's a lot of casualties. They bombed Germany day and night and day. I think there's a lot of casualties on both ends. You can see them going over Haverford West in the Spitfires, but who knows how many came back?
Well,
Minutes?
you could hear the drone of their Spitfires and fire coming out the exhaust.
13 seconds.
19-year-olds, they're gone.
Yeah. not much training, they send them in that plane, and they send them to Germany to
And
bomb.
then that cockpit was real small.